What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. There's another Garage Gym Reviews, and today we're just going over some things that you could do in a basic functional trainer. This is going to be the machine version. So if you have a hotel gym, maybe an apartment gym, these are some of my favorite movements to do. Typically what you're going to find with these types of machines, with dumbbells and cables in particular, it's going to be, in my opinion, just more useful for the upper body. You can get some lower body work for sure, but especially if you're kind of a more seasoned strength athlete, this could be more kind of maintenance and kind of rehab prevention type work than pure strength output. Again, because a lot of times these machines don't go up super heavy and the dumbbells don't go up super heavy as well. So anyways, some sort of lat pull down. So if you're a bigger guy like myself, you can kind of use your body weight to your advantage and kind of ground yourself, so that way you just have a little bit more stability. So even though you don't have some sort of pad for support like you would in a regular lat pull down. And what's really nice about the cables, you can really kind of line up. So in my opinion, as opposed to barbells and even dumbbells to a degree, there's a lot more adjustability in terms of the starting height. There's a lot more adjustability in terms of lining up with your joints. So I did some lat pull downs, some decline chest presses, and then here I'm doing like a scapular retraction focused row. Again, I really have my feet out in front of me, so I don't really have a good bracing ability. So this is going to be best more done for higher reps, and you can kind of see I'm really trying to get those shoulders to protract and retract. This is a really important one, I think, for benching, but also just for shoulder health in general. So you'll kind of see here, I started off doing more of a fuller range, and then I'm kind of going to more just kind of pure scapular retraction, which I think is a really important skill, especially in powerlifting. We're always kind of pinning our scapula down and really kind of bearing down with our upper body. So getting those scapula to move effectively. So here is just, and you can kind of see that I'm kind of adjusting from like top to bottom and then I think back up. This would be kind of more like a low to high type fly. It's going to be more for the delts. Again, the setup could have been a little bit different. You can kind of see, and then also you kind of have this behind the back curl. So the kind of advantage here versus using a dumbbell is you're going to get more kind of tension and challenge in the kind of that stretch position, which is often more challenging if you are kind of just standing up and using dumbbells, where you're essentially not getting any resistance until you start to kind of lift the weights up further and further. So it's going to kind of challenge your body in a different way, and I think it's also good for just general mobility. This is one of my favorite uses of figure eight straps. We have the lying side raised, and if there's any Johnny pencil neck exercise I like, this is probably my favorite Johnny pencil neck exercise. I think that it's well deserved. And in terms of, I have a lot of shoulder issues, so this feels really comfortable as opposed to using dumbbells for my side raises. And again, you can kind of get a little bit more. So I'm going right into a rear delt raise. I'm just kind of just also showing you, if you are pressed for time, if you're on vacation, or if you're in a kind of a busy season of your life, this could be just a really good way to kind of get some quality accessory training in. And I think the accessory training for strength athletes and more strength-focused people is almost always overlooked, at least in this day and age. So here I'm going to be adjusting those cables down and just kind of showing you, if you don't have a bench, you could obviously get on the floor and do this, but if you don't have a bench, you could also do some of these shoulder exercises standing as well. And again, what's nice about the cables, you can kind of get some tension in more of the stretch position of the muscle and then the bottom, versus when you're doing dumbbells, you're mostly getting dumbbell side raises, you're only really getting a challenge toward the top. So, and a lot of times, like for a lot of people, the shoulders tend to get a little bit more cranky the higher and higher they go. So doing kind of these lengthened partials could be a really good tool just to kind of get some good shoulder development. And then I'll also just kind of show you an example of a standing curl. Had to adjust the weight here, but you can kind of just see, so this is real time. You can kind of see it's still pretty fast. So again, this is going to be a really good option if you're pressed for time. A machine like this, there's so much you could do on it once you kind of understand what settings are going to be good for your height and what your goals are. And again, I'm able to kind of curl. I'm able to adjust kind of based on the carrying angle. So this is, I could have stepped out a little bit further, but I would have been out of frame. But this is kind of like this, I guess, katana cross tricep extension, which I really like. I probably could have spent a little bit more time in the contraction position, but again, this is going to be more of a what we call a stretch bias exercise. A little bit more tension at the start of the movement. So I'm not really as worried about getting full lockouts all the time. And was just going for a good burn here, but this is also good just to get a good stretch. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.